5 minutes.
We ended up wrapping our day sourcing fruit and looking at different barrel samples. A little too short of a day, but we ended up having a little fun and being able to go out and check out some of the sites of the Central Coast.
We visited one of the oldest missions in California, in San Miguel, which was quite interesting. I mean, these are the people that brought wine grapes to this region.
And we ended up at a great little Basque restaurant called 10th Street Cafe, and the chef owner, whose name is Dallas, we called him Big D for most of the time.
Okay, guys, come on in and eat. All right.
Everything came out family style, and it was just course after course.
We had Boda bags full of sangria. It was really very sort of traditional Basque style. We were running around in red berets. You introduce yourself to the people sitting at your table. You get to know people very quickly. And we met the fire chief and his wife. He brought us some really great wine. So we really had a great time sort of hanging with the locals.
Honestly, you look at Ross and you say, he's a great character, he's really fun to be around, and we've actually become really good friends, really close friends, because we've gone through this process so long together. But he's a wine educator at heart. And it's not called the Wine Educators, it's called the Winemakers. It's about launching a brand, it's not about who knows the most obscure wine trivia.
Taylor's been my major competition in my eyes from the first time I met him. Taylor has the business savvy, but you know what? There's a lot of people in this world that have business savvy. There's not nearly as many people in the world that have a tongue that can taste wine. I can learn the things that Taylor knows. I'm not so sure that Taylor can learn the things that I've known.
Now it's time for the 4 remaining contestants to meet the team of experts who will help them in this next challenge. Thomas Reese is a label designer. He will help each contestant develop a brand image for their wine. Once their label design is finished, they'll meet with media consultant Scott Saunders, who will help them develop their marketing strategy. And they have only 1 week to get it done before presenting their brand to the judges.
When I started thinking about my approach to this project, one of the things that I wanted to emphasize was my love of music and my background in Austin and Austin's love of music. So Thomas and I had a chance to actually sit down a couple of times during the process. I was able to send him a mock-up of an idea that I'd had a friend in Austin work on for me.
Okay, Ross. Now, I made a printout of the email you sent me.
The 45 adapter, to me, evokes both a nostalgic quality and a current sort of technological aspect to the music industry. There are people over 50 years old who immediately can associate with that logo, and it takes them right back to a time when they were most likely very happy. And at the same time, there's a large contingent of people my age and younger who have seen that same little icon at the club or in the music store.
Part of my label design idea was to get the consumer to understand that this was a small production product. So I ended up using a wine press, a small barrel wine press, as part of my imagery for that. Thomas then took that imagery and we discussed it. And then to see this one, it's obviously easier for me to see the contrast. Meeting with Thomas the second time, we ended up going through a number of label redesigns. We went through a cleaned up version of that to a more illustrative version of that to what I think was the most phenomenal label. Completely hit my brand, 100%. I was like, when he flipped over to it, I'm like, that's it, we're done.
When I first started working with Thomas, I had something already submitted and I was okay with it. I don't want to duplicate anybody's label. I wanted to just be me. At Drika tribe, there's this symbol, and it's called ram's horns. And they're 2 rams, they're coming together. One symbols strength, the other one symbols humility. So I took the ram's horns and I said, hey, this is cool.
I got a chance to email initially Thomas at Craftworks, and then we spoke on the phone. I was able to kind of convey my basic idea, and it was actually the classified ad concept. Again, it's a very familiar concept. Everybody's seen classified ads in newspapers. Everybody's torn them out, and they've circled something with a red pen, and all that's translated on the label. And what I think is unique about it as well, I get to tell a little bit of the story about the grapes, about the wine, right on the front label. And that almost never happens. You always have to turn the bottle around to read about some tasting notes and flavor profiles. And I think that maybe will make it a little less intimidating as well. But the goal is, hey, to get that consumer to pick it up the very first time. I didn't get to spend as much time with Thomas as I would like to. My schedule had a lot of conflicts.
Hey Alan, Thomas with Craftwork. Hey, please give me a call as soon as you get this message, okay? We're kind of running out of time here, okay? Thanks. Bye.
I sometimes have some real difficulties executing things under deadlines. It's something that's happened my whole life.